Let me see if y'all gave me any donations. Let me see. I'm giving y'all all my wisdom, but where the donations at? Last donation to the school was Richard Harris. Somebody better get on their Cash App. Somebody better get on their Cash App. Cash.me/$FDMG school. I better get some donations. I'm about to hang up.
Yo, that never gets old. That Umar clip never gets old. Yo, I was super tired, but seeing Umar's face gave me some energy. The Cash App is #Quantify LLC. Again, I'm always appreciative when people send me a couple ducats, just showing me love and affirming that they appreciate what I'm doing out here in these streets. So peace, peace, peace. I am Phillip Roundtree, and you are tuned into the June 8th edition of Rhetorically Speaking. Props to the people who are watching on Facebook Live. Shouts to the people who are watching on YouTube Live. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I feel like Facebook people should go over to YouTube just to show a brother even more love. I'm appreciative, but it's levels to appreciation. You know what I'm saying? So definitely shout out to you all. And shout out to the people who are on IG Live, even though I don't got IG Live up right now. So listen, man, we're going to get right into it. I'm kind of tired. Listen, running in the heat, running in 90-degree weather is not the move. It's not the move. I don't recommend it for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ran 1.7 miles. I had my water. The water got hot as I kept running. I was only out there for about 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there bent over. What's up, Leslie? I'm sitting there bent over trying to catch my breath. I finished. You know what I mean? But it sapped me and took all my energy. But I'm still going to try to bring the alacrity today. So we're going to first get started with this Christian Cooper situation that's taking place. So if you're not familiar with Amy Cooper and Christian Cooper, she called the cops on Christian Cooper as they were both in the park. Her dog wasn't on a leash. She confronted her about putting her dog on a leash, and she called the cops saying that he threatened her. And we know from the videotape that that's not the case. And so a lot of people were up in arms. They were outraged, as I was, as we all should be, whether you're white, black, or no matter how you identify racially or ethnicity-wise, right? So we know that I believe she lost her job. She turned in her dog, but she ended up getting her dog back because we understand the priorities. But, that case it was like the precursor for everything that took place for like George Floyd and things that transpired after that. And so today it comes out that Christian Cooper said he's not snitching. Christian Cooper said, listen, I'm not snitching on Amy Cooper. He said, listen, she's already paid a steep price. That's not enough of a deterrent to others. Bringing her more misery just seems like piling on. And boy, did social media, especially black social media, let him have it. I saw a post comparing him to Terry Crews, calling him an Uncle Tom, saying he's it's embedded in his marrow to capitulate to white folks and to save white women. He's an imbecile. He's a loser. And I was just taken aback. And of course, I would love to hear your comments. I see Natalie saying, what was the point then? First, let's be clear, right? And I'm not sitting here saying I'm defending what it is that his decision, right? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm defending his decision. But again, it is his decision. We can sit and we can Monday morning quarterback and talk about all the wouldas and shoulda and couldas because it's easy because we're not in that situation. Right? When we say what's the point, we know that he wasn't the one that sent the video, that submitted the video to social media. We know that was a family member. Right? He took the video as proof that that's not what was taking place. And so he did it to save himself in the event that the police showed up and he had to say, here, listen, this is what took place. So I believe that was the point of him recording. Yes, he did interviews because, listen, if something goes viral, they're going to want to talk to you. And so he did the interviews, right? He did the interviews. And so now here he is 6 to 8 weeks later, right? He's trying to regain some normalcy in his life. And now the police who want to step up to the plate and prosecute to make an example out of her, they're saying, listen, we want your cooperation. And he's saying, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm okay. Do I blame him? It depends what lens you're looking at it from, right? And so on the various posts, I talked about, well, maybe he wants to avoid becoming a Karen himself, right? Running to cooperate with police in matters that don't warrant it. So that's an option. Maybe he has no faith in police or the legal system and believes in destroy and rebuild. I saw Mark Lamont Hill post why the police shouldn't get involved, why she shouldn't be prosecuted, right? I didn't listen to it in its entirety, but again, that's somebody that feels this way, and we understand there's a certain segment of the black population that feels another way. It's not my position to say who's right or wrong, but to show the gray area, right? Maybe he's just a nice person who's nice and isn't about adding to the misery of others, and he keeps the same energy no matter the hue or gender identity of the individual. You would have thought I was cursing when I made that post. You would have thought I was cursing at folk. Because it's hard for black people, and I understand we're talking about a community that's been oppressed for hundreds and hundreds of years, right? And so it's rare that we get opportunities to make examples out of people, especially white people who commit egregious acts. Some people say this is like the equivalent of attempted murder. Again, I understand the emotion. I understand the place of origin where that arises from. But that wasn't the case. Yes, it could have turned out very bad. Yes, we've seen situations like this turn out very bad, where people call the cops on black folk for when no crime's being committed, when there's no issues at all, and lies about them, right? And lies to the police about what's taking place. But again, I'm sitting here saying, if I'm Christian Cooper, you know what? I might have done the same thing. Because what are you asking somebody to do, right? Maybe he wants to put this situation behind him. What you're asking him to do is now he's going to have to speak to the police, probably on several occasions, about the incident. So if the situation was traumatic for him, he's now going to have to relive that, right? That's why his previous statements to the police should be accepted. And with the video evidence, they should be able to continue on the prosecutor if that's what they choose. During my time as a child abuse investigator, right, we weren't sitting interviewing children who were sexually assaulted multiple times, right? No, because again, we're talking about trauma. And we don't want somebody to continue to relive situations that could negatively impact their well-being. So we're talking about potentially multiple times being interviewed by police. He's going to have to be interviewed by the district attorney. We watch enough Law and Order, right? Then if it gets taken to trial and she doesn't plea out to community service, he's going to have to testify. We're looking at a year or more with this hanging over his head. Why should he do it? Because she's a white woman? Because we want to show that we want to dissuade people from doing this? Clearly, we've seen these situations continue to take place, and white folk are going to white folk. Right? Putting Amy Cooper, having her do community service, because we know she's not going to get anything more than that. Going to this process does what exactly? Right? Does it prove a point? Again, and people are saying she needs to be held totally accountable. I understand that. And maybe they can still continue to hold her accountable by the video evidence. Again, a lot of times we talk about woulda, shoulda, couldas. And I made the parallel as to a lot of people talk a lot of trash about what they're going to do to their boss when they boss come around, or like Kanye said, if my manager insults me again, I will be assaulting him. And what happens when that manager shows up and insults you or talks to you in a way that you don't like? You take it on the chin, right? So again, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback situations, but you're not him. You're talking about somebody who's sitting in the park watching birds, but yet you think he wants this type of smoke? Everybody's not built for this. Even some of these pseudo activists that talk a big game on Facebook, on social media, talk a big game, but when it come to being out in those streets or following through with situations, they not doing it. I see a lot of people talking about the backlash that Botham Jean brother got, right? Like black folk just continue to give white women passes. But he considers himself a Christian. So I'm trying to understand. Isn't that what Jesus would have done? What if Christian Cooper is a Christian? And he's like, what would Jesus do? Jesus will feel like, you know what? Don't make her suffer anymore. She's lost enough. But again, we be in our Christian bag when, we be in and out of it, right? Again, what I would do in this situation, I would hope that I would follow through. But what do I have going on in my life right now? I might be stressed from COVID. I might be stressed because I got school starting up. I might be stressed because I got a lot of things that's going on. Yeah, I'm not with that. Leslie says the thought of nothing being held against her legally will be embraced by those who are bigots or racist that they can get a pass. She of all the Karens needs to take it through the legal process. Leslie, do you think that's going to stop racists and bigots from doing what they want to do? You think because Amy Cooper goes through the legal process, they're going to sit there and say, oh, something happened to Amy Cooper? We watch these people lose their livelihoods, lose their jobs, get booked. Did that stop them people going out there in San Francisco or whatever that was on July 4th and trying to paint over the Black Lives Matter? No, it was not a deterrent. It was not a deterrent. So again, we have this idea of what we think justice is and what we think the legal system is, right? But when we see it in practice, in action, it never manifests itself in that way. And so I'm not going to excoriate this brother because he says, nah, forget it, man. I'm just not with it. Freud said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, right? And I see all my pro-black people, right? And I think when you start to automatically dismiss a black man or dismiss a black woman or dismiss a black person and start to say that, white supremacy has a hold on their life. Like they've been colonized. When you have no idea who this person is, what their experiences are, that's anti-black to me. Don't hit me. I ain't Terry Crews. But again, you're making these rush to judgments, and it's starting to be a trend that I'm noticing, right? I ain't going to even talk about the trend that I'm noticing. Yes, it is. I am going to talk about it. I'm starting to notice a common theme of unresolved trauma. And again, I'm speculating, right? I'm speculating. I don't have no hard facts. But you hear the pain. And then if you black, you just got unresolved trauma anyway, going from history. You know what I'm saying? But we start to project. And with some people, I'm like, I know you. I know how you giving it up and how you're not giving it up out here. But I think it's easy because everybody has a platform where they're able to sit and able to pass judgment. Hell, that's what I'm doing right now, right? That's what I've been doing for the last 15 minutes. But again, man, I ask people to take a step back. Take a step out of self. If you're that curious, try to have a conversation with that man. Try to understand what's happening in his world. Right? Listen, I don't know. I'm no mortal man. Ben Arnold said it's not for us. It will never manifest the outcomes we desire in its current form. Again, I agree. Right? I agree. I'm definitely still interested in hearing your thoughts before I get to the next topic. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if I had anything else to say on that. Yeah, again, just the intellectualizing and psychoanalyzing of every situation, man. We don't know Christian Cooper. We don't know how he was impacted by that. But still, I'm able to show grace to the people who are jumping to these conclusions, because this is what happens when you're a people who have been dealing with systemic oppression for as long as we have, and so we just want to win, right? That's like a 0-15 football team who goes out there and they just want to get a win, man. They want one win. Especially when it's in their grasp. And so what this is, it's like, yo, we ahead. We ahead 10 points. And now one of our key player goes out. He's like, yo, I'm not playing. I'm not feeling this anymore. Like who was it? Vontae Davis did for the Indianapolis Colts. He went in at halftime. And he said, yo, I'm good. I'm retiring. He retired at halftime. And then you lose the game. But again, yes, this will be cool. But don't let this, and I hate using this term, don't let this distract you from the goals, from the mission, from the purpose. This isn't an L. You think this is going to be, again, you think this is going to be influence white supremacy and what have you. It's not. This is not going to be a chink in the armor. This is not going to be a chink in the armor. You know who died today? Mary Kay Letourneau. She was 58 years old, died of cancer, right? If you don't remember her, she dated, she had sex with and had babies by he was 12 years old. She went to jail for 7 years. First, did her jail sentence dissuade other teachers from having sex with their students? No. Right? Right? It didn't. Did it change truly? Did it change anything? No. Because child predators are going to be child predators. Bigots and racists are going to be bigots and racists. That's not saying don't hold people accountable. If anything, again, the police has the videotape. They probably talked to him. They should have some statements by him. And if that's enough to go forward, then continue to go forward. But I'm on the side now is, listen, I don't blame him. Either way, if he would just like Deshaun Jackson, right? If they suspend Deshaun, if they cut him, I'm cool with it. And if they don't, I'm cool with it as well. Because the more I sit and think, like, yo, you quoted Hitler, Deshaun. Not all that forgive. William says all that forgive narrative to your own detriment. One of the reasons we stayed in slavery so long. Then William, tell me you're not a Christian. You can't be a Christian. It's impossible. My mother says consequences. It just makes one wonder if the roles were reversed, not concluding, just wondering. We know what would transpire if the roles were reversed. But again, why does he have to be the one to be the savior for black folk? Why does he have to be the representative? Because he's in a situation? Maybe that's just not who he is. Maybe he's a bird watcher who tries to avoid any type of issues. He's not a quote-unquote troublemaker. He's not an activist. He just wants to live his life in peace. What's wrong with that? Why do we want to make him a martyr? When we have opportunities, each and every one of us have the opportunities to be martyrs in our daily lives. It's a lot of messed up things that happen in each and every one of our lives day to day as a result of white supremacy and oppression. What are we doing about that? Why are we so fixated on Christian Cooper and what he does? A slave response. Why is it a slave response? Again, I just don't. I don't get it. Again, we want to intellectualize everything. We want to psychoanalyze everything. We want to jump to these conclusions. Have we had a conversation with Christian Cooper? It was public. Well, he didn't publicize it. It was his family member who publicized it. And it went viral. That's what made everybody want to participate in it. Again, when we have these conversations about things being slave responses, I just think it's easy. There again, but we see what the public says, Natalie. Natalie says, I know he didn't do it, but he should have told them to leave it alone. Again, this is about public. This is about perception. If this wasn't in the wake of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protesting happening across the world, it probably would have been left alone. Like it was left alone with the barbecue babe out in California. Like the black folk at Harvard. What's the good brother name? Like Henry Louis Gates, when he was at his own home. You know what I'm saying? You said we have to think beyond ourselves. Now, William says we have to think beyond ourselves. He has a chance to help the greater good, whether he asks for it or not. The platform is at hand. Again, it's not everybody's burden to bear. Sometimes we're asked people to do things that they're not capable of. Like it's easy to say, think about the greater good when you're not the one that has to deal with this for another year. It's easy to say that. And that's why I said it's so easy to Monday morning quarterback these types of situations. Again, think about it. He has to talk to the police. He's probably going to have to watch the video again and verify what took place before, what happened during, what happened after. He's going to have to talk to prosecutors. He's going to be grilled by defense attorneys. Then what are they going to do? And again, this is just from my law and order background. They might start looking up things in his past, right? To try to talk about his character as a person and why she very well might have been threatened. And so now he has to relive that. Again, and I haven't said it in a while. It's bigger than Nino Brown, right? It's bigger than Nino Brown. We just think of this as, oh, go do it, dog. Go do it for black folk. Man, y'all not in these situations. Y'all not dealing with these situations. It's heavy. I did 48 hours in jail, right? I did 48 hours in jail. That was enough for me, right? That was enough for me. I understood the emotional toll that it takes on people, the mental toll that it takes on people. So then we tell brothers, get out of jail and go get a job. Or we start viewing them in certain lights. It's just like you have no idea what that experience was like. I'm okay with Nino. Everybody's a rat, right? When ish get heavy, listen, man, self-preservation. This is what this is about. That's what life is about, self-preservation. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is my life. This is Christian Cooper's life. Nobody else has to live it. And so when I talk about you anti-black, when you start coming at him, you start calling them names because you don't agree with his decision, right? Are you helping the cause? Are you helping to push the conversation forward? I don't think so. Again, I don't get it. I believe in self-preservation, right? That's just what it is. That's what America is, and that's what people have been since the beginning of time, right? You worry about self, and hopefully you then worry about community. But again, the reason of reference is always bigger than Nino Brown, right? It's bigger than him. You got to think about the people that's influencing these things that's taking place. But people got to get outside that box, man, that I talked about yesterday. People swear they outside the box, but they just in another box and not looking at things holistically. So I'm proud of Christian Cooper for being true to who he is. Again, somebody else who's true to who he is, y'all president, not mine, Trump. And this going to be quick. He talking about the CDC guidelines and how he wants schools to open in the fall no matter what. If not, he's going to be taking funding away. Listen, first off, I don't know if he has the power to do that, right? But what he says is, I disagree with the CDC Gov on their very tough and expensive guidelines for opening schools. While they want them open, they are asking schools to do very impractical things. I will be meeting with them. Bruh. And you just look around. Like, word? First off, dog, who are you? I think that's now where we are. We understand who Trump is. Back 3 years ago, we didn't know who he was and how much power he had or he did not have. Talking about, I will be meeting with them. And sure enough, the CDC talking about they coming back and changing their guidelines next week. And so I looked it up, right? And I wanted to see what the considerations that were being asked by the CDC, even though states and municipalities can do as they choose with regards to this. But a lot of times we follow the CDC recommendations because, again, they're the Center for Disease Control, right? And so this is their specialty. This is their niche. And so some of the things that they recommended was for the lowest risk, right? Students and teachers engage in virtual-only classes, activity, and events. Then they talked about more risk. Small in-person classes, activities, and events. Groups of students stay together and with the same teacher throughout across school days, and groups do not mix. Students remain at least 6 feet apart and do not share objects. Then they said the highest risk, whereas full-size in-person class activities and events, students are not spaced apart, share classroom materials or supplies, and mix between classes and activities. What Trump did not do is he did not say what he didn't agree with. And we know about this boy that he loves making blanketed statements, not being direct, not being specific. Because again, what don't you agree with, right? And so here we have the CDC saying, okay, listen, we're going to meet next week. We're going to bring some more guidelines. Meanwhile, states like Florida and Texas, you know how much I hate those states. COVID continues to rise. States like Arizona, COVID cases continue to rise. Here in Philadelphia, COVID cases continue to rise. So in essence, what he's saying is, I don't give a damn about y'all kids. I do not care about y'all kids. Marcel says that's not going to work. My children don't listen to me about social distancing with the local children. Listen, I've seen a lot of people of all complexions out here running amok. And so what do you think is going to take place in the classroom setting, in the school setting? Kids are going to be doing their thing, right? Because they're kids. They're at ages when we talk about children and adolescents. They have this need, this innate need to engage with their peers. And if they don't want to engage with their peers, we recognize that there's something wrong with that. That they probably need to see a therapist. There probably needs to be a conversation that takes place as to why you do not want to engage with your peers, We're talking about self-esteem issues, depression, anxiety, etc., etc. We also talk about the teachers, school administration. I don't trust y'all muckers either. Like Joel Embiid said yesterday, right? He was asking him about the bubble and the NBA starting, which sports should not be starting now. We should say sayonara to sports and see sports in 2021 in the fall. We see that Ivy League schools have canceled fall sports, right? Because we recognize that people are going to continue to test positive for COVID. Louisville, where they still haven't arrested the killers of Breonna Taylor. Figured I'd throw that out, and that wasn't like a mundane sentence. It just came to my mind because I'm talking about Louisville. Right? They had to shut down their voluntary practices for a few weeks because a couple people tested positive. Joel Embiid said yesterday, he said, listen, and I'm not gonna do his voice. He said, yeah, I'm not really in favor of it, but I mean, I'm gonna do it because I'm a professional, and you know, my city depended on me, and all that. And he like, yo, I mean, I'm good. I don't do nothing but play video games anyway. It's the rest of them bulls who I don't trust. And I was like, wait, what? That was honest as a mug. He like, yo, it's the rest of them I don't trust. And so when we talking about these teachers, some of these teachers are the same ones out here walking around without a mask. They the same ones sitting around when Bull pulled the hammer out on the black man on the bike for talking about social distancing. They up in these bars, they up in these parties. They go in the grocery stores, catching it by accident. So no, I don't trust nobody involved with this. Nobody at all. But again, we understand what Trump is doing. He's playing to his base, right? He's trying to make it something political. He's like he does everything. And we understand the medical aspect of it. Unless you like I'm about to say a 5%er, not a 5%er. If you a 5G'er, right? Because 5G'ers don't believe, they think 5G trying to kill you. They don't believe in masks. They believe all lives matter. They believe blue lives matter. And Trump 2020. And this black folk included. Because if you don't wear a mask, I'm automatically assuming that you Trump 2020. Because that means you not smart, in my DJ Khaled voice. It's just plain as day. I told you I'm going to start calling people stupid. And those are the people that I'm calling stupid. But it's definitely a bad idea. Is it going to take place? We'll see. I think if you live in a state where you have a competent governor, like New York, like Pennsylvania, I think you can feel comfortable that if school does go back, that there's going to be some guidelines in place to truly restrict and mitigate the possible transference of COVID. But even with that, you still can. Like, there's no way. Like, even if you're the Florida president, the Florida governor, like, you're going to get COVID, man. Most of us have already had it. But again, this boy's hell-bent on it. But we're going to see. We're going to see. And speaking of Joel Embiid and the NBA, they fools again. They boo-boo the fools again. And why? So the majority of the players have decided on the slogan that they're going to wear. They have decided on the slogan that they're going to wear. And it says equality. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, equality. Not equity, where you get what you need, but equality, where we all want the same. I had this picture and I didn't upload it, right? It's probably one of the only pictures that I didn't upload. And I'm sure you saw it, you had it, where the people are standing on the boxes looking over the fence. And one is equality. You know, equality. This is what it looks like. So you got the super short kid over here. You got the taller kid over here. And then you got the grown adult over here. Equality is that they're standing on the same boxes. That's what the players want. They want the same to be able to stand on the same boxes. Even though everybody can't see over this fence. That's what equality is. Now, if they ask for equity, we know what that means. That you get what you need so you can see over that fence. So the little kid, the taller kid, and the bigger person, they're all looking at the same eye level. So it might be 3 boxes, 2 boxes, 1 box. You get the picture. But then I saw one I never saw before. And it said reality. Right? And reality is there was the tallest person standing on 10 boxes. The littlest person in a ditch standing looking at the fence. And then you had the person in the middle standing on like 2 boxes. Because that's what reality is. Right? When we talk about black folk and brown folk working from hundreds and hundreds of years of oppression, we working out of a ditch. And so 2 boxes not going to even get us out that ditch. Meanwhile, the WASP, your white Anglo-Saxon Protestant white man, is all we up here. You know what I'm saying? But the NBA players want equality. I wish it was somebody who was just like, yo, look at this picture. Somebody just Googled real quick, like Deshaun Jackson should have did. Like, yo, let me Google this. Let me see if this make any sense. If this is anti-Semitic or not. I mean, it said Hitler said it. So I don't know if you should be just quoting anything that Hitler says and then expect people to not think you meant it, right? Or to tell people that they took it out of context. That's not what you meant, right? But again, we know people not doing the research. So that's why they say equality, and they cool with that. Again, man, and that's why it's so fascinating this time where we are in sports and in the world where sports people have such a big platform. They have a huge platform unlike they've ever had before. And how some of them are choosing to use it, if not all of them. I see Kyrie Irving is making a documentary on Breonna Taylor. Kudos to him. I believe it when I see it. Because I've heard Kyrie make various statements about different things since he's been in the NBA. And it all left me scratching my head. So I don't necessarily know if I want him to be the point person on this. No shade to him. I'm curious to see. Let me see what y'all saying. Jamal says major fail. Again, but the WNBA continues to be light years ahead of them. WNBA player said, listen, we putting Breonna Taylor, we putting Charlene Lyles, we putting all these people on the back of our jerseys. This is what it is. And the WNBA brass got it and they understood it. Just like with the co-owner for the Atlanta Dream, when she made that statement saying she doesn't believe in this Black Lives Matter and this protest of putting the names on the jerseys. Oh, Cheryl Swoops and all these different people quickly came out and said, no, get her out of here. They need to get her out of here quick. Meanwhile, in the NBA, it takes something extreme like Donald Sterling. And they say, nah, players can't put people's names on the back of their jerseys. I think part of it has to do with marketing. Part of it has to do with selling. Are you going to be able to sell a jersey that says Breonna Taylor on the back? Or Alton Sterling? Because you know it's about money and marketing. You could sell, oh, you got to crop that Sixers equality on the back jersey, dog. You got to get that. They thinking about as far as marketing. Because what other reason would you have them not being able to put names on it? I don't know. But listen, man, unless y'all got something else popping, something else going on, I think I done hit my max with these conversations, unless something else going on. It's funny, when I be getting off of here, I be seeing a whole bunch of stuff that be popping up. So let me do a quick run through. Oh, Steven Jackson said Deshaun Jackson is speaking the truth. Oh, Lord. Negroes just need to shut up, man. Just shut up. So, Steven Jackson says, so I just read a statement that the Philadelphia Eagles posted regarding Deshaun Jackson's comments. He was trying to educate himself, educate people, and he's speaking the truth, right? He's speaking the truth. You know he don't hate nobody, but he's speaking the truth for the facts that he knows and trying to educate others. Oh boy, what was truthful about saying anything about Hitler? I just don't know where the truth lies in that. Nobody cares about the truth in that situation. But y'all don't want us to educate ourselves. Facepalm. If it's talking about the black race, y'all ain't saying nothing about it. They killing us, police killing us, and treating us like shit. Racism at an all-time high, but ain't none of you NFL owners spoke up on that. Ain't none of you teams spoke up on that. But the same team had a receiver, Riley Cooper, who said the word nigger publicly. They gave him an extension. I play for the Big Three. We have a Jewish owner. He understands where we stand and some of the things we say, but it's not directed to him. It's the way we've been treated. See, oh boy. Let me say this to Steven Jackson, right? Because you know who he sounds like? He sounds like a white person when they get upset. I wasn't talking about all of y'all. I was just talking about just some of the folk, and they understand why. I think he's conflating issues. Yes, I completely agree. That Riley Cooper situation 7 years ago was problematic. 2017, when Jeffrey Lurie came out comparing Michael Vick to Colin Kaepernick, or Colin Kaepernick rather than Michael Vick, and the dog whistle talking about football acumen that we know that football people use when they talking about black quarterbacks as a reason not to have them play quarterback, that went under the radar. So I get that. But what the hell does talking about Hitler have to do with them killing us and police killing us and treating us like ish? Like, why must you die on that ledge, Steven Jackson? Like, I can only imagine being a Jewish person, having the numbers on your arm, that being a very real experience. And you talking about some Hitler? Nah, bruh, that's not it. That's not it. And again, whose truth is it that we talking about? Y'all don't want us to educate ourselves. Yes, we do. I want black folk to educate themselves. But you don't go to this like Bomani call it, this book without a barcode to get your information. It's a lot of information out there, right? I don't necessarily know if you want to go to Louis Farrakhan for your information, because we know he's anti-Semitic. We know he hates gay people. We know he's misogynistic. You got to be mindful of the source that you're getting the information from too. Yes, he's a broken clock is right twice a day. So nah, Stephen Jack, you not getting that off. Brian says, I see the white man getting very nervous with the pendulum swing taking power away from them. That's why they don't want the black anthem before the Star Spangled Banner as well as BLM on jerseys. Again, that shit don't mean nothing. That's performative, man. I don't want the black anthem before the NFL games. Or I could care less if it is. I could care less about BLM being on jerseys. That's nothing to me. That's not an action. That's just something that's there to the fruit that dangles. You know what I mean? And I hate to say distraction because I believe we can do both. But that shit is meaningless. Getting black people to perform as black characters on TV shows, I don't give a damn about that. I'm looking at the average income. Right? I'm looking at the average income. For every 40, 50, 60 some odd $1,000 they got, we in the negative. That's what I'm looking at. I ain't worrying about no BLM or no jersey. It's cute. You know what I mean? It's a cute gesture. That's why when I look at the NFL and listen, and I look at all these sports. You know what I mean? I look at all these sports. That's why I'm with Kyrie when he says, listen, we need our own sports. Point blank. Point blank. We need our own leagues, right? But that's too radical for some people. Again, we try to put ourselves in their establishment, their businesses and what have you. And some of them are cool. Some of them are cool. I like white people. I say it all the time. Mike, who on here every Monday, good folk. Jamie, my guy who helped me get my business off the ground just by giving me some dope ideas. I appreciate them. I will go to war with them. I will fight with them any day of the week. But them other people, them racists, they gonna be racist. That's why I'm always interested, right? Like I see this stuff, where how to be an anti-racist come out, right? I see white fragility flying off the shelves. And I appreciate the white people who are trying to do their due diligence. But it's one thing of reading about it. And it's one thing about really putting it in action. Like I saw a post and it was just like substitute how to be an anti-racist from how to be a mountain climber. You're not a mountain climber because you read a book about mountain climbing. It's not until you get into situations, until you put yourself at that mountain and you got to climb it. That's when you become a mountain climber. Bodybuilder, I could train all day, but I'm not a bodybuilder until I step on that stage for the first time. Then I could call myself a bodybuilder. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not worried about what these white people doing. Because if you get worried about what white folk doing out here, you're going to be worried forever. Tell me more, Marcel. How do I feel about racial reconciliation? Explain to me what that is. Feel free to Skype in. I told y'all people can Skype in these days. Oh, I ain't got to join that. Rhetorically speaking at outlook.com. Let me know what you mean about racial reconciliation. And while he typing that up, let me see what else is out here. I'm starting to get a little energy. I mean, these shootings taking place. Tulsa sees COVID-19 surge in the wake of Trump's June rally. Of course. But let that man tell y'all different, man. Let that man tell y'all different. I'm still waiting for Marcel. Kanye West revealed he no longer supports Trump. Who mans is this? Who mans is this? Who cares, man? Like,
when New York issued its stay-at-home order.
we need to talk about how when you go on website now, videos just be popping up, like 5 of them, and they all got video playing. So he conducted a 4-hour Forbes interview on Tuesday. To say that, oh Lord, I'm sorry, I can't even read. I can't read anything that has to do with that. All right, so I guess we're not gonna get what racial reconciliation is. So I'm about to get ready to wrap up. I'm tired. I appreciate you, Queen Joe. Check it out on my website, quartifiedllc.net. But yeah, I mean, it's been 51 minutes. I'm exhausted. I appreciate y'all coming through today. Until tomorrow, 7 p.m. Peace. Matter of fact, let me give y'all some more Umar, because I know y'all want to see it.
Let me see if y'all gave me any donations. Let me see.
Donations.
I'm giving y'all all my wisdom, but where the donations
Hashtag Quartified LLC.
Last donation to the school was Richard Harris. Somebody better get on their Cash App. Somebody better get on their Cash App. Cash.me/$FDMG school. I better get some donations. I'm about to hang up.
Meet me at the range. Meet me and matter of fact, we want to have a conversation. Yeah, I mean, how about when your homie say, "Listen, man, I'm gonna come check out your central air." You know what I mean? Meanwhile, he's sitting there watching you on your show. You know what I mean? I just been 2 weeks in the 90s. I'm still waiting for my man to come through and check out my central air. So I ain't sweating to death over here. You're talking about meet me at the range. All right, my son. Yeah, get back to me on that, man. But I'm out of here, man. I'll check you out tomorrow. Again, peace. Play my intro.